As you can see behind me, that police tape has been removed from this crime scene. Now, neighboring fire departments, they've all responded to the scene, trying to assist in any way that they can. Few hotels in the area still have vacancies, and people who are able to find rooms can expect to pay a price that reflects the high demand. In fact, I'm going to take you guys over here to one of the more interactive booths. It's the Dress for Success booth, and we're joined here now by Renee Clayton, who's heading this up. Renee, tell us a little bit about what you all are teaching everyone here. All it takes for a thief to steal your data is to be close to the skimming device and be connected to Bluetooth. I'm standing right next to this Purple Heart designation memorial, which now has a permanent home outside of KWTX. A lot of changes today at the Waco Humane Society Animal Shelter, changes that cost $3.5 million. Call it a miracle if you will, but across the street from this church, the Cefco gas station wasn't as lucky. Final preparations are still being made. Waco River Safari is hoping to make a splash in early May. Reporting live in McGregor, live in Hillsborough, live in downtown Waco, Nestor Montoya, KWTX News 10. It was a dramatic turn of events this morning. Neighbors tell me it's quiet in this area, and they never expected anything to happen here.
I'm hurt and I'm afraid for those girls because they're so sweet and they're so nice. They don't deserve what happened to them.
A neighbor is heartbroken after learning a murder-suicide happened in her neighborhood this morning. Around 7:15, police responded to a call about 2 shots being fired at a Bruce Villetti home on Woodlawn Road near I-35. The neighborhood was on lockdown.
They had the roads blocked off and I seen the police had their guns out, so I had my kids go back in the house and sit on the floor.
McLennan County Sheriff Parnell McNamara said it started with a domestic dispute between a man and a woman, and he says the shooter had a very recent criminal record.
This individual that did the shooting bonded out yesterday on 4 different charges of, I believe, 2 of harassment, criminal mischief, and 1 possession of marijuana.
At least 2 children and the victim were held hostage for 2 hours before SWAT officers were able to get inside. Still, a home is surrounded by police tape as officers investigate what they say is a tragedy.
You never know what somebody is going through in their own home. You never know anything. There could have been so many things going on that none of us knew about, and it led up to this. Now, Keisha, the McLennan County Sheriff's Office, the Texas Rangers, the Texas Department of Public Safety were helping out in the investigation of this crime scene. As of this morning, the children that were in that residence were staying at a neighbor's house. No identities have been released, but family has been notified. For many Cuban families, Castro's burial marks the end of an era. Today, I spoke with the Rubio family, who shared the courageous story of their father and how he escaped the communist country. Festive decorations are up in the Rubio household. They'll soon celebrate the holidays. But today, they celebrate the end of an era in Cuba by remembering their deceased relatives.
Finally, it was a relief, actually. It was a moment that I thought, gosh, I wish my grandfather and my father could have been alive to see this day.
The day Fidel Castro was laid to rest. Family reminisced over old photos and shared the courageous story of their father, Milton Rubio. In 1962, Rubio led protests against Castro. His aunt worked for a local newspaper and received tip that he was in danger.
You got to get him out of Cuba because he's on the list to get assassinated.
Rubio's family quickly arranged for him to leave to Venezuela, where he'd stay until he got a visa for the U.S. When he arrived, he met his wife, and a few years later started his family.
We vowed to each other that when we had a family, the Cuban tradition would be instilled in our children.
Rubio passed away in 1982, and like so many others, was never able to see a free Cuba. But to family, he was inspirational.
He was able to persevere and become somebody.
Somebody whose legacy still lives on. Rubio's family says they're optimistic of Cuba's future, but know it could take years before the country sees significant change.